There's one other thing that I should have brought up for the barbarian that we made in the last segment, and I'll show you real quick. There are suggestions on how you can translate a barbarian, in this case, into Acquisitions Incorporated. And so if we go back real quick for Baldan Gorbeler, you know, how does this person make his mark? You know, what's a signature item or a barbarian style that this character has? And we can roll those real quick. As well, there's also rather than calling them spirits of your ancestors, you're in communion with the franchise executives and corporate raiders who have traveled your path before. No, so that's the Ancestral Guardian. This is Path of the Totem Warrior. Urban replacements, instead of a bear, remember, because cosmetically you could reflavor things, could be an Audiug or a giant spider, a crow, a flying snake, a giant rat, or a giant fire beetle even, for the wolf. So it's just saying, you know, here are some urban equivalents. So in this case, you know, we're not changing too much, but that feature's here. However, if we do come up here for signature items, 1d10, I'll roll it in chat, is a 2. A calling card with your name on it. So we can put that here. We have a signature item, a calling card with your name on it. And our barbarian style. Let's roll a 1d10. A 1. A fur-lined, double-breasted suit with a corporate logo on the pocket. Now, does it have to be literally that? No. We can consider it as a prompt and move sideways with it. Though the prompt that we have is, you know, as we bought in, and especially if we have to have the best of everything, like right now, it may be gaudy, but we're told this is the best, and this is what the best chefs in Acquisitions Incorporated wear. So a fur-lined, double-breasted suit with a corporate logo on the pocket. There we go. And we're going to be adding those to our next character that we're rolling up too. Dogface Dad says, any Death Tyrants by chance on the site? You can get a Death Tyrant, Dogface Dad, in Dungeon of the Mad Mage. You can pull that out of those boosters. However, I don't have a Death Tyrant in the Orphanage right now. I'm guessing if you ever get the box back in, Against the Giants would be 22 or more. Alright, so Against the Giants, there's no way those boxes are coming back. Those are very old sets from either late 3rd edition or 4th edition. Now, the miniatures inside them may get a reprint and a resculpt, but that set we will never see again because it is so old. All I've been able to get are some older 5th edition sets that are in the Icons of the Realms line. I believe you do have a Death Tyrant, Shukan. You can check your pull list, and you could talk to Dogface Dad if you want to work something out. Alright, so here we have, and Dogface Dad, if you just got here, I hope that you're going to enjoy what you see. Part of our workshop is the random creation of characters and settings, NPCs and villains. And the reason it's random isn't for lol random reasons. It's because it removes any personal biases we have, and it gets us to think outside the box and connect dots that maybe we never would have had before. So Shukan does have a Death Tyrant. If you want to message Dogface Dad and work something out, you're welcome to do it. All I need is to hear from both of you saying, hey, if you want to disclose what the trade was, you're welcome to. But as long as I hear from both of you saying, yeah, the Death Tyrant goes to Dogface Dad, and Dogface Dad says, yep, that's what happens, that's all I need. That's all I need. If that's to me, of course. If that's to Shukan, well, you two can talk about that. Shukan's on the Discord as well. All right, let's open up our handy-dandy random number generator, because this channel on Twitch loves random number generation. And we are going to... Mazamun, or Mazamune, welcome. Welcome to the workshop. You just walked in as we are starting a random character generation to make a character out of Acquisitions Incorporated. Let's roll a percentile to find out if we have a female character, a male character, or a multi-class character. In this case, we'd roll for female or male again. It does, Shukan. There's a lot of green on that cover. Yeah, so our first two workshops of the week, Mazamune, were covering the crunch of Acquisitions Incorporated. You can go back and watch the VOD, or at the end of the week, I'll put them up on YouTube. And now we're using what we learned from the book to apply it. And in this workshop, we're making characters. In tomorrow night's workshop, to close out the week, we're going to be making a franchise and a setting for a proposed Acquisitions Incorporated to take place. All right, percentile roll. 58, we have another male character. Now, we know the race we're using. We're going to be using the custom race, or the new race, found in Acquisitions Incorporated, called the Verdan. So we have a male Verdan. And we're going to roll a percentile set to find out the alignment. 42. We have a lawful neutral male Verdan. We're going to be generating this character at level. I rolled a 37. We have another level 8 character. That works out very well, because that's what our first one was. And so that means, and this is interesting about the Verdan, you are small-sized until you hit level 5, in which case you hit a growth spurt and you're a medium-sized creature. So we have a medium-sized Verdan, level 8. That means we get an ASI, or a stat bump, at level 4 and 8. I'm going to roll a percentile set and find out if we're going to replace any of those with feats. Again, I leave this open for the opportunity, because I don't want to just have sort of a personal bias towards, oh, I love this feat, I'm going to give this feat to every character, because it should be mandatory or something along those lines. With a 44, this is pure stat bumps, so no feats for this character, unlike the prior one. Background sources, we are going to go for the backgrounds that are in Acquisitions Incorporated. And so if we go here and we take a look at the backgrounds... Whoop, I went too far, everyone. Backgrounds are on 47, so if you have your book at home, play along. And I believe we had 6. We had Celebrity Adventurer Scion, Failed Merchant, but if I get that, I'm going to re-roll, because we already made one of those. Not that in a party you can't have 2 failed merchants, but, you know, for exercise purposes. Gambler, Plaintiff, Rival Intern, and... Whoop, and I think I skipped one here. Or did I not? So we had Celebrity Adventure Scion, Failed Merchant, Gambler, Plaintiff, and Rival Intern. Okay, nope. So there's 5. I'm sorry, not 6. So let's generate a D5 and roll it. We rolled a 1. Ooh, this is going to be fun. And this is also why I love backgrounds. My goodness. All right, so let's go. Haha. Do. We have a Celebrity Adventurer's Scion. All right, I'm not going to worry about the details just yet. We're creating the structure of the character, the skeleton upon which we'll apply the vessels and the muscles and the flesh. You have 28 trade credit for orphans, or if you want like sealed merchandise, you have $22 of that. And so that could be 2 first dibs of a normal box or 1 full pull of Storm King's Thunder, or a mix and you use the floating mini dono credit or whatever you'd like. But yeah, there's nothing wrong. You know, Shukan, we actually made a band. We had a party of 4 bards. To make the point that in 5th edition, you can't really have a bad character, and you can totally have a functional party made of the same class. And only using the player's handbook even. We made a band of bards, and their manager was the 5th member of the party, and I think was a rogue. And the band's name was the Healing Words. You might have heard them mentioned in the Tuesday campaign. Alright, so we have the Celebrity Adventurer Scion. Now that we know our background, we are going to roll a d12 and discover which class this character is rocking. And I love that I have this big golden d12 right here ready to roll. And so, without further ado, and by that I mean I'm going to put a drum roll, which is quite a bunch of ado. 7. We have a Paladin. And specifically, let's roll a d3. 1. We have an Ancients, an Oath of the Ancients Paladin. Now we can collapse this. There are some class features for a Paladin. We get to roll a d4, and let's determine what our fighting style is going to be. The answer to that question is 4. We are a Protection Paladin. Okay. Now, as a Verdan, we are actually going to have to look for the age range. We're still going to roll a percentile, but the actual years, we'll have to just sort of guesstimate. So our Verdan is... We rolled a 91, and so in the tiers of a life, 91, we have a Venerably Aged Verdan. A Venerably Aged Verdan. So here's the blurb about the Verdan. They are mutated goblins who are a lot more friendly. Let's see. Age. Verdan reach adulthood around the age of 24, and it's thought that they might live to nearly 200 years old. However, because no Verdan has died of old age since the race's initial creation, their upper age limits remain subject to speculation. So in this case... I mean, we could push it to around 200 and say that something happened and this one age accelerated because of something, or this is simply the oldest known Verdan to exist since they came into being and sort of crawled out of the Underdark after going through that mutagenic property. With the context like this, it's really up to you and your Dungeon Master to interpret. If we're going to pretend like the Verdan have been around, you know, they're a standard race that anyone could have been. You know, not that they're a dime a dozen per se, but they're around. Why don't we say that that this is going to be... We're going to start at 160, and we'll add a 40-sided die to that. Because Venerable is pretty much like you might have a year or 2 of natural life left if you're lucky. So 160 plus 12. So we have a Venerable... 112-year-old Verdan. Now, because of their growth spurt, they also have a special line for height and weight. And let's take a look at that. Ranging from 3 to 4 feet in height, but at some point after reaching maturity, each Verdan undergoes a sudden growth spurt of 2 feet or more. At first level, you're a small creature. When you reach 5th level, you become a medium creature. So we have an adult. So we have 3 to 4 feet in height, though we get to add on to that as well. So that's kind of, that'd be more around the lines of a human, of human height. Well, it says 2 feet or more, so that's actually more of a, that's actually more of like a dragonborn height with a weight modifier, probably more along the lines of human. So we're having to do this on the fly because this is sort of the blind first look at things, and I don't have the character builder updated with this info yet. So if we come over here to, that's Mountain Dwarf. Actually, they start at 4 feet. That's so 3 to 4 feet, and it's a 2-foot minimum. So why don't we just roll an average of 3d12 and find out? Oh no, because if that's a minimum. Oh, so we'll add 2d8 to 5 feet and find out what happens. 2. All right, kind of shorter. Whatever, that's fine. We have a 5'2". Maybe he's kind of on the shrinking end of age. 5'2", and then if we use a base weight of around 100 pounds, 2 times 2d8. Oh, I only rolled 1d8 for that last one. So actually, let's bring that up again. So it's 2. Oh, it's 7. All right, 5'7". Sorry for the confusion, everyone. I'm trying to make this up in my mind as we go along based on all the other characters that we've randomized. So it's 7 times 11 is 77 pounds. So we're gonna put this Verdan at 177 pounds, staying at 5'7" and a venerable 112 years of age. All right, now that we have this, there's a couple more numbers that we need to generate for the background. We need 2d8 for the personality traits, and then 3d6 for the ideal bond and flaw. So we have 8, 3, 1, 5, 2. 8, 3, 1, 5, 2. And now we can bring up Acquisitions Incorporated and our character sheet and begin building from here. English Mudkip, hello. The name of the dwarf, it's right up here. It is Baldon, Baldon, Gorbulir, Gorbulir. All right, Shukan. I mean, if you need to round up, the minis dono could go for orphans as well. You're welcome, Fallon. Now, when making characters, again, I love exploring the background first. The background makes our character have character. It's not just a Verdan. It's not just a Paladin, or even a Verdan Paladin. This is our character who lived a life of doing something. In this case, that something is living in the shadow of a famous parent, adventurer. So if we come back up to... the backgrounds, let's begin our character creation truly at our background and find out who he is and what kind of life that he has lived. Right? So your family name strikes fear and admiration in the hearts of the common folk, but that's got nothing to do with you. Songs and stories celebrating the adventuring exploits of your famous parent are widely known. Kids across the land grew up wishing they were you. But being the child of a famous adventurer wasn't all hugs and kisses. You seldom saw your celebrity adventurer parent, and when they were around, it was all about them and the tales of slaying this demon or vanquishing that dragon. All too often, you'd be woken out of a sound sleep by someone standing outside your home screaming about the latest threat to the town, the region, or a Zawarodo. In the end, all you have to show for your lineage is your name. Most of the family's money went for consumables, from potions of healing and spell scrolls to copious amounts of dwarven ale, and everyone expects you to swing a sword or sling spells like your famous forebear, making it doubly hard for you to prove yourself. We are going to get perception and performance for our skill proficiencies. We're going to get a tool proficiency with a disguise kit, right? If you got to leave the house and you don't want to look like the kid who's going to get harassed, you got to wear the fake mustache. We're going to get 2 languages of our choice. I believe Verdan, and we'll double check, get Common, Goblin, and then we'll give them 2 others. We're going to get some equipment of a disguise kit, a set of fine clothes, and a belt pouch with 30 gold pieces in it. Ooh, you get a big allowance. Now, our background feature is called name dropping. You know and have met any number of powerful people across the land, and some of them might even remember you. You might be able to wrangle minor assistance from a major figure in the campaign at the DM's discretion. Additionally, the common folk treat you with deference, and your heritage and the stories you tell might be good for a free meal or a place to sleep. Not too shabby, huh? Yeah, you can send it via Discord, Shukan. The Insane Gifter, welcome back. Have a seat. Talk, lurk, whatever you'd like to do. Rest, share stories. Alright, our character. He has 2 personality traits. The first is number 8. No risk.
Desert of Desolation 1/6 Large Feuerelemente. Large. -$1 im 1. 1/6 Ferit Regen Unhallowed. 1/6 Marit. Large. -$2x Pegasus -$1x Gibbering Mauser -$6 is to make you not have to take stuff out of the donor.
Thank you very much. And now that's kind of on a record now, and so I can go back and pull that information and get that stuff after the broadcast is over, Shukan. No risk is too great for the rewards of defeating my enemies and taking their stuff. And personality trait number 3, living up to my legacy will be difficult, but I'm going to do it. One day, I swear, my parent might have already died, but I will live up to that legacy if it's the last thing I do, because it probably will be. Well, it'll speak the numbers that you don't type out in English. It'll pronounce the numbers in German. But otherwise, it's reading the words in English with a German accent. It is German. The text-to-speech for donations and bits and whatnot is a German male, Welsh female, and Australian female voice. It's a part of the theme of the channel, as a nod back to my own heritage, Mazamune. That's also why one of the mascots you see is a griffin that is black, but also has the colors of yellow and red. And why the red dragon has supporting colors of yellow and green. Oh, you're taking German. Well then, I guess keep an ear open in case anything else happens, Mazamune. So no risk is too great for the rewards of defeating my enemies and taking their stuff, and living up to my legacy will be difficult, but I'm going to do it. My ideal as this character, 1. Power. The only way to get ahead in this world is to attain power and hold on to it with all your might. And you can stop here and say, hold up. We have a lawful neutral character, and how dare you, Maddie Morgs, how dare you assign the evil ideal of power to this character? That can't work. It says evil in parentheses right there after the ideal. That's absolutely fine. It works. Your alignment is an expression of your character. Just because you're lawful neutral, it means that you are more methodical and that you are self-conscious and you tend to put yourself before others, but you're not, you're not sacrificing other people. You're just prioritizing your own goals. So we have a methodical person who is thoughtful about himself. And especially, we want to talk about a character that writes itself. We look at the personality traits and the ideals. I mean, the ideal especially. That feeds into the personality traits that feed then into the expression, right? Your alignment is what comes out of your mouth when you speak, or what you do with your hands. A chaotic evil character can donate half their hard-earned paycheck to a good aligned, quote-unquote, church. It doesn't make them stop being chaotic evil. Their expression, however, is more impulsive and more selfish. That doesn't mean they still can't do quote-unquote good things. And when you have a mix of an alignment and an ideal like this, you can have a very compelling three-dimensional character. Not that you have to, but I think we made a case where this works very well. Now, what's our bond? What's our bond to the world? What keeps us going here? Number 5. My childhood home holds all my best memories, and its upkeep is my primary concern. We're almost 200 years old and we're still living at home, folks. When are we ever going to move out? I mean, we'd probably run it as a museum for some side income or something. And lastly, our flaw, because we are all flawed creatures, is number 2. You. Fetch my cloak. And maybe rub my feet for a while. Assertive. Authoritative. You know, asking people to do these things. He could do it himself, but he's earned it. It's his money. Or it's him that's keeping the family name going, in a sense. Yeah, Colossal is a 5-inch base. Oh, the Forest Day? Sure, Carl. I'll play the Forest Day for you. Secret Garden, Feywild. It's right around here. There we go, Forest Day. Yeah, you're welcome, Carl. Reason I ask, I might make a mini from scratch. Yep. Now, that said, Colossal could be even larger. You know, mechanically, well, so you have, it might be that jump. Gargantuan might be 2 steps then. It might be 4 and 5, depending. Because then Colossal is just simply like 6+. Mechanically, I don't think there's anything larger than Colossal that exists in the monster manual for a mechanical descriptive purpose. So a Colossal base could be 10 inches if you really want it to be. But I think size information might be found in towards the back of the player's handbook if you take a look. It'll give some sample, monsters and whatnot. Or just bases, character sizes. Alright, so here, you know what? We have a character. Now, we haven't put any stats down. Like, we have no ability scores. Yeah, we know we have a male Verdan who's an Oath of the Ancients Paladin. That's great. Just like, how many other Oath of the Ancients Paladins are there? Or other Verdans are there? This makes our character right here. We have a person we can conceptualize. We can say, alright, 112. What has he seen? What's his process? Does he see this as his last adventure? The last huzzah to prove that he's not just in the shadows of his perhaps deceased parent or parents? We have a compelling reason for this person to be. We can think about the decisions he's going to make. And that's what helps make a character. Knowing you have a paladin or a Verdan doesn't necessarily do it by itself or even together. But the background, oh, the sweet background of 5th edition. That is where the core of your character really exists. Hey, Orc, welcome. Oh, 5e took out Colossal? Alright then. So yeah, you could look in 3rd or 4th edition if you want a reference in that case. I don't have one in stock right now, Shukan. If I did, it would you would see it as a special figure in the announcement section that is at the end of the pull lists for everyone. So when I get them in, I'll make an announcement about it, share a photo on our tabletop section, and I will update that in our Adopt a Mini channel. That said, I do have a falling star if you want to ship. It's a big ship, but it's also it's a pretty penny too. But I do have a falling star if you want it. It is purchasable, Dogface Dad, yes. Yep, we're reviewing it right now. I have several copies in my store. It's good to go. You can buy it hard copy or you can go in D&D Beyond. I think the MSRP is 60. I'd have to double check for you, Shukan. I don't know offhand. I'm in Sandusky, Ohio, or a lot of people call it Cedar Point. All right, so we have the core of our character. We have some of the mechanics, and that's the beautiful part about backgrounds. Oh, they bridge the crunch to the fluff. It's wonderful. Now, before we get to what a Verdan is or gets by way of being a Verdan, when you make an Acquisitions Incorporated character, you are a member of the corporate franchise, right? You hold a particular position in it. Now, the first character we made tonight ended up getting the position of the Hordes person. These positions, a good way to look at them, are the meta jobs that people at the table normally do. All right, I'll make the maps. Okay, I'll be the party treasurer. You know, I'll be the party leader and make decisions. It takes all of this stuff that people either avoid or bicker and argue over, and it translates it into the game and makes it a part of your character to include it and empower your character and make sure that there's really just not a lot of fuss about it, because it's that person's job, as per you've been hired by this franchise or you work in this franchise for it, to do this job. It's a part of your character, so you get all the benefits added on, similar to how we were making officers in Ghosts of Saltmarsh when we created our officer characters. I'm sure it would be larger, Mazamune, but you can, I mean, put it on whatever base you want. It's your game, ultimately. Who cares? It's your game. The rule books are just suggestions. Now, what are the roles that you have? The roles that you have inside a franchise of Acquisitions Incorporated. So here we have the Cartographer, the Decisionist, the Documancer, the Hordes person, the loremonger, the obviator, the occultant, and the secretarian. There are 8 different positions that your character can have. So I'm going to roll a d8. Now, we already made a hordes person with our first character, so if I get a 4, I'm going to re-roll. One. This is the company Cartographer. And so we're going to go to page 19. If you have the supplement, you might as well open it up to it. And I'm going to add that down here, that we are the Cartographer. And this is going to give us some stuff. Now, here's the fluff behind it. You know, what does a Cartographer do? Getting to be more of the crunch. Our position proficiency. In addition to the proficiencies noted below, you can add your proficiency bonus when you make an ability check to create or examine maps, search for new paths in the wild, or assess a route for possible dangers. What's nice is that's floating, which means if for some reason animal handling might play into finding a new path and you could convince your DM of that, and you are not proficient in animal handling, you can add your proficiency bonus in that instance, because it's a part of what you've trained to do, what you have been hired to do by the franchise. So we get position proficiency. On your own character sheet, you might want to write out specifically what it is, but I'm going to just put that there for being succinct. All right. Now, we are presuming we have a rank 2 franchise, and we're doing that because both our characters are level 8, and that's the next tier. That's a couple levels after the next tier of adventuring. It goes 1 to 4.
This should cover the honorable night. Once you get one in, that is.
Oh my gosh, Shukan. Okay, I mean, I will do my best to get one in. I don't have one in yet. Not that I'm nervous that I can't get it in. But for sure, I mean, I will do my best to get one in for you as soon as possible. Yeah, Dogface Dad, there's kind of jokes that this is, you know, like D&D University kind of stuff. I have tried to get the White Draco Lich. Now, I have gotten them in before, and you can ask Diadems about the White Draco Lich, by the way. It'll be easier to get that walking statue in because it is new. And so when those arrive, then I will make sure to hold one aside. I believe I put in a pre-order for them. The only reason why I'm nervous is just I don't have them yet, and I have had times when I have made orders that people have prepaid and the package goes missing. The warehouse drops it and either damages it or forgets it, or something bad happens that's out of my control, and here you've handed me your money for a big ticket item that was completely derped out and out of my control. Subdued Bonsai. Good evening to you. Konbanwa. And that all can't stay awake any longer. Good stream. Yeah, thank you for joining us, Tamrick. Oh yeah, post your dragons, Diadems, and especially let Shukan see what that White Draco Lich looks like. Bonne nuit. Mon ami Tamrick. Bonne nuit. Murder Cube Actual. So this is the prime. This is the leader of the Murder Cubes. Would creating a cleric with a knight background who is a crusader for his faith be considered acceptable, even though crusader isn't something explicitly mentioned in the player's guide? Yeah, of course. Of course, Murder Cube. You don't have to be a paladin per se to be a paladin, or in this case, a crusader. You know, you're taking the concept, you're presenting a lot of the major features with the character. It's just that cleric is what we assign mechanically to a set of characteristics on a set of characteristics for a a character. You can run a cleric and say, you could even call it a wild magic sorcerer. As far as that person knows, they wake up every day and they get the ability to cast magic. The magic just is coursing through them. They want something, kind of like through a prayer or asking. They want something, it manifests. Why isn't that a wild magic sorcerer? Sure, you're a cleric, mechanically. Why couldn't you be a wild magic sorcerer? Why couldn't you be a wizard? An arcanist. Whatever you want to call it. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay, Shukan, yeah, let me know, and I will get those separated and packed up. Oh yeah, the falling star. We ended up getting 2. We've turned 1 around already, and I have 1 falling star left at the store. The wild magic chart is in the sorcerer section. But in this case, I'm calling it wild magic because it's magic that appears wildly. You don't know where it's coming from. It just happens. It's spontaneous manifestation. So we get our position proficiencies. As a rank 1 cartographer, you gain proficiency with cartographer's tools and your choice of land vehicles or water vehicles. All right, so we're going to put cartographer's tools and vehicles. I'm just going to roll a d4. Odds, it's land. Evens, it's water. Odds, it's land. Very good. Head office also grants you the use of cartographer's supplies, a waterproof leather map case, a spyglass, and a supply of colored inks. So here we go. We have cartographer's supplies. Waterproof leather map case. A spyglass, which is a 1,000 gold piece item, by the way. And a supply of colored inks. We also gain the feature of It's a Rental. At rank 1, Dogface Dad, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome aboard. At rank 1, at the start of any mission, you can requisition a second-hand draft horse and cart, barely functional, riding horses and ponies, typically well-aged, 1 for each party member, passage on a ship or ferry, might require minor labor as part of the fare, and similar transportation. Any damage or losses to requisitioned equipment is expected to be repaid to head office. We also, at rank 2, are going to get a Spyglass of Clairvoyance. Hey, Diadems, thank you for that gift to Dogface Dad. Dogface Dad, welcome aboard. For those of you who are subscribers, please welcome Dogface Dad by showing off what you got. Mazumune, welcome. Thank you. At rank 2, your head office supplied spyglass becomes a common magic item. As an action, you can look through the Spyglass of Clairvoyance at a location within 1 mile of you that is obstructing your view, such as a mountain, castle, or forest. You must then succeed on a DC 15 wisdom check using cartographer's tools to map the natural terrain found within 3 miles of that chosen point. You do not gain any knowledge of creatures, structures, or anything other than the natural terrain. This property of the Spyglass cannot be used again until the next dawn. We also get the Tale of Safe Travel. Starting at rank 2, you gain the ability to perform a 45-minute ritual using your cartographer's tools, maps, and 50 gold pieces in consumed material components. By doing so, you ensure safe travel for you and other creatures. From your current location to another location you could normally reach within 1 day. The destination must be 1 to which you have traveled previously or for which you have an accurate route and map. And there's a little bit more details. I'm not going to read the whole thing. We reviewed it in a prior segment, but you get the Tale of Safe Travel. And then we're not ranked 3 yet, so you don't get the map of shortcuts. This is something we could actually do for our Hordes person as well. Why are you a cartographer? What led you in life? What was something else we could add to your background, to your backstory? Why be a cartographer? And let's roll 1d8. A 4. You like spyglasses a lot. Now, we can take that word for word, and this person very much loves spyglasses. Again, with the background, maybe times you were often, in your home and surrounded by people who wanted autographs or to shake hands with the valiant lord or lady, blah, blah, blah. I mean, so maybe you just always look to the horizon. You always look to escape. And so we actually do like spyglasses, or it's a sentimental thing. We always are looking beyond. We're looking to the horizon because we always have felt so cooped up here where we're at. Actually, in that case, real quick. Why be a Hordes person? We're going to add this real quick to our barbarian. Why be a Hordes person? One D8. 2. You've been betrayed by your adventuring party before, and there's no way now that you'll trust anyone else to hold the loot. Now, in this case, because we had our partner in our restaurant die, maybe that's what it's referring to, betrayed by your adventuring party. It could have just been the staff at the restaurant. You were the head chef. Suddenly your partner dies who is doing the books, and all of that is left to you, and you just say, I can't, and the business closed up. And, no one else could help or wanted to step forward, and you felt betrayed by that. And so now, you're the one who says, fine, I'm going to build this from the base up. I'll account for everything. I won't make special notes or special practices. I do recipes by the book. I'm going to do the accounting by the book. All right. Now, coming back over here. We have our background. We have our role in the corporate structure. This is what we do for the franchise. It's our job to make maps, and we're equipped to do so. Now it's time to find out who we are by virtue of being a Verdan, which is the new race that was introduced in Acquisitions Incorporated. So pardon the blinking here. It's going to do that while I scroll a little bit. Here we go. As a Verdan, your constitution increases by 1. I'm going to float that here. And our charisma by 2. Our base walking speed is 30 feet, so 15 climb, 15 swim, 0 fly. We have black blood healing. The black blood, that is a sign of your people's connection to that which endures, boosts your natural healing. When you roll a 1 or a 2 on any hit die you spend at the end of a short rest, you can re-roll the die and must use the new roll. We also get limited telepathy. You can telepathically speak to any creature you can see within 30 feet of you. You don't need to share a language with that creature for it to understand your telepathy, but it must be able to understand at least one language. This process of communication is slow and limited, allowing you to transmit and receive only simple ideas and straightforward concepts. So you can't have a detailed battle plan, but you can say, attack. Persuasive. We have proficiency in the persuasion skill. Telepathic insight. Your mind's connection to the world around you strengthens your will. You have advantage on all wisdom and charisma saving throws. All right. Languages, common, goblin, and an additional language of our choice. So we can actually speak 5 languages, and then we can telepathically communicate beyond that. Not one that counts for most spells, Fallon. That's up to the DM, Shukan, about what would constitute a simple command. Understanding Sylvan and speaking it, could be borderline, probably a case-by-case basis with your Dungeon Master. That's right, Dogface. He likes spyglasses a lot. Ugh. He loves his spyglass. And then you had another question. The other question I have is, how do I go about picking up healing spells as a light cleric? I know I can pick spells outside of my domain, but how does that work? Would worshipping a god like Apollo, who serves multiple domains, help? So how that works, Murder Cube, I'll go to it real quick in the player's handbook for you. All right, so if you are a light domain cleric, and let's say that you are, what level are you, I should say? Starting fresh, level 1, gotcha. All right, on your spell list, you get the light domain spells. These spells do not count against the number of other cleric spells that you can memorize at the beginning of every day when you pray for your spells. So they are always prepared. You will always have Burning Hands and Fairy Fire available at level 1. From there, you get a number of other spells you can prepare from the cleric spell list equal to your wisdom modifier plus your cleric level. So let's say you have a +3 wisdom modifier and you're a level 1 cleric. You get to prepare 4 extra spells on top of your domain spells. And you choose those spells and you can change those prepared spells, not your domain spells. You can change your prepared spells at the beginning of every day. And so if you want Cure Wounds, you can slot Cure Wounds as one of your 4 spells for the day, on top of the 2 you get as part of your domain every day. These images are, these were drawn by the folks over at Penny Arcade, as that is the inspiration for this expansion. Does that make sense to you, Murder Cube? So you'll always have your domain spells prepared. Then you get to prepare extra spells of your choice. This is a menu. Every day you could swap up your spells if you really want to. And once you have your list of prepared spells, when you cast them, those consume a spell slot. And so, I mean, you could have 100 different spells prepared, but if you only have 4 spell slots, you're only going to be casting 1 spell 4 times, or 4 different spells from that list once, or 2 and 2, that kind of a thing. So I hope that helps you out, Murder Cube. If you need some more instruction in that, let me know. Most likely, yes. However, that is going to be up to your Dungeon Master, as Divine Intervention is pretty much a mechanic that lets you ask a favor from your DM. It could be a spell, and spells are probably going to be more often granted because it's something that is kind of within the realm of what you already do. It's not like asking for, please let a meteor fall on the evil king's head or something like that. As that might not be granted at all. Or it might be granted, but it takes a month. And in the meantime, the evil king is killing everyone. But so that's really the divine intervention is more of a bargaining chip that more often than not with many DMs, if you just ask for an extra spell of some level, they'll probably just allow divine intervention to act as that extra spell. All right, so we have our background, we have our job, we have our racial information. Now let's look at what it's like to be a paladin. We are a level 8 paladin, so here we go. This is all the information we need to worry about right here. Our proficiency bonus is +3, not 13. 3. We have 4 first level spell slots and 3 second level spell slots. Paladins are half casters. We are a D10 hit die class. And as we're level 8, we conveniently have 8 D10 hit die that we can use during short or long rests to recover ourselves without needing to consume potions, magic, or like healing kit charges and such. We have proficiencies with all armor, as well as shields. Weapons, simple and martial. No tool proficiencies. Wisdom and charisma are our saving throws. And then we get to choose 2 skills from athletics, insight, intimidation, medicine, persuasion, and religion. Given the background here, like, again, I like choosing skills based on who our character is. Now, you may sit down with other people in your party and say, has anyone taken perception? No. All right, I guess I'll take perception because no one else has it. If you want to build a character like that, that's up to you and your party. What we do here on this channel in our workshop, we build the character based on who they are. Their skills are going to reflect who they are, what they've, where they've gone, what they've been through. So no risk is too great for the rewards of defeating my enemies, so very determined. Living up to my legacy will be difficult, but I'm going to do it. So we have a theme of determination. Power, the only way to get ahead in this world is to attain and hold on to power with all your might. Again, determination, strength. My childhood home holds all my best memories, and its upkeep is my primary concern. Some sentimentality, some history. You, fetch my cloak, and maybe rub my feet a while. Very commanding. We also like spyglasses a lot. So in looking at that, athletics, insight, intimidation, medicine, persuasion, and religion. Well, we haven't generated who our famous parent or parents were. And so this could be a reflection of that. Or you could say, Mr. or Miss DM, I know that history's not on the list for paladins, though instead of religion, I think my character really would have studied history, especially because he is history. He's almost 200 years old. And you know what? Your DM might say, that's not a bad idea. Go ahead and do that. And thank you for asking and being so thoughtful. I think intimidation, given that kind of dominant force, and athletics for sure. So, I mean, I probably would have said yes to history. Let's play it by the rules as presented, and let's go with athletics and intimidation for the paladin. Equipment, a martial weapon, and a shield. We're definitely going to need the shield because we're a protection paladin. So a martial weapon. What kind of a weapon would a character like this use? I like spyglasses a lot. No risk is too great. Power, the only way to get ahead is to attain power and hold on to it. Childhood home holds all my best memories, and its upkeep. Let's give him a warhammer. If he's got to upkeep a home, he can swing a hammer. A warhammer and a shield. So we're going to get a +2 AC because of that. 5 javelins or any simple melee weapon. So we probably also then have a throwing hammer. Or a light hammer, as it's also called. A priest's pack or an explorer's pack. Well, so this could be roleplay. Have we found religion, or is this something that has been left? Maybe we're not necessarily religious, Though it could have been something left to us by our parents. Let's give a priest pack. Maybe where we live is a holy sanctuary that was blessed by our parent. Chainmail. And a holy symbol. As a paladin, we are going to get Divine Sense and Lay on Hands. Divine Sense gives you a nice... It's the old kind of detect good and evil sort of thing. Very useful. It's fun to use. And we're going to get a number of uses equal to Charisma per long rest. Our Lay on Hands, we're going to put in this other bubble to manage things like sorcery points, key points. It's very convenient. Lay on Hands, we get 5 per level, so we have 40 points of Lay on Hands to remove disease, poison, or to cure people. Here is our fighting style. We randomly rolled Protection. And we rolled that, so if someone's within 5 feet and we have our shield, we can impose disadvantage on it for a cost of a reaction. We are going to have spell casting. We are going to get Divine Smite. Whoops. Divine Smite. Or Savine Dmite. Divine Health. If you want to read these, they're on screen. They're in your player's handbook. I'm not going to spend a ton of time describing every single one for the purposes of keeping it moving along. Our Sacred Oath we're going to come back to. Let's build our Paladin first, and then we'll do the customization. We get an extra attack at 5th level. We have an Aura of Protection at 6th level. Which is... That Aura of Protection is really good, by the way. At 10th level, so we don't have the Aura of Courage just yet. So now we look at our archetype, and we have Oath of the Ancients, which is more of like a Green Knight, a Keeper of the Forest, a Warden against the Fey incursions and the like. Much like Clerics, we get Oath spells, which are like domain spells. And I'll worry about that in just a second. We are going to get Channel Divinity, and we are going to get some options with Channel Divinity. Our first is Nature's Wrath. You can use your Channel Divinity to invoke primeval forces to ensnare a foe, and turn the faithless. You can use your Channel Divinity to utter ancient words that are painful for Fey and Fiends to hear. So you're not an anti-undead paladin, but you can affect Fiends, which is good, and Fey, which is very interesting. Just watch out. If one of your team members is a centaur from Ravnica, those technically aren't humanoid, which also has other implications for other spells because they're not humanoid. And that means you could accidentally turn the faithless your own Fey companion, who's a centaur. And at 7th level, we get Aura of Warding. This is awesome, by the way. Ancient magic lies so heavily upon you that it forms an Eldritch Ward. You and friendly creatures within 10 feet of you have resistance to damage from spells. All damage, all spells by level 7, cut in half. Amazing. Alright, now, we do get some casty bits here. So a paladin. Spellcasting is off of Charisma. And our prepared spells equals Charisma modifier plus half our paladin level, because paladins are half casters. So it'll be Charisma plus 4. We had 4 and 3. And if we look here, our always prepared oath spells. So we have Oath. Ensnaring Strike. And Speak with Animals. Oh, this person works really well with our dwarf. Moonbeam and Misty Step. Now, those are those don't count against our prepared spells. We'll calculate that when we're at the end. Stats, when we make characters, stats are the last thing we worry about, essentially. And for some of you might think that's crazy. What are you talking about? Ability scores drive the game. Yes, they are the engine. We've created the chassis. We have a beautiful shining chassis. Now we get to drop the engine into it. But do you buy a car solely based on its engine? Or do you base it on its chassis? You know, how does it look cosmetically? Can it seat 5, 7 more? Do you want 15-inch tires? Do you want all-wheel drive? Everything besides the engine. Oftentimes we choose that, and then we go with whatever engine comes included. You'd argue that the Eladrin might be Fey. DM discretion, elves are technically humanoids. They have Fey ancestry, and so you may have a DM say anyone with Fey ancestry might have to roll a save at advantage or something in that instance against anti-Fey effects. They might even include gnomes. Gnomes are Fey derivative. They don't have the racial ability Fey ancestry like elves and half-elves do. But they're Fey. Now, it's mechanically centaurs are Fey in the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica as a race. You can stave off a Dullahan in that case since they're Fey. Oh, and reading up, would an elf be affected by that, but due to Fey heritage? Hopefully we covered that. Elves are technically humanoids. And if you want further proof, real quick, if we come over here, I mean, you can look in the monster manual, but specifically here, if you are looking at, favored enemy, you can select 2 races of humanoids, such as goblins and orcs. However, that is also dwarves are humanoid. I mean, I guess if we go here, let's go to D for drow. Actually, this could be dangerous because there's a lot of D. Demons, dragons, devils. Although, this makes a good point. Like, devils are fiends. So, fiends are affected by this paladin. Dragons are dragon. They're their own type of monster. They used to be considered magical beasts in 4th edition, I believe. But yeah, here we go. The Duragar, right? Dwarves effectively, medium humanoid, specifically dwarf. But the overarching family is humanoid with the branch of it is technically a dwarf if you make up a dwarf affecting spell. Oh, it's fun how they do that. You are correct, Mazamune. So, let's see. We have our standard array, 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. We have our paladin, who favors, like, really, we have super paladin here. Like, strength and charisma are absolutely up this character's alley. No risk is far too great for the rewards. Wants to seek power. I maintain my childhood home. You want to keep it respectable, presentable. So for sure, let's do something like 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8 dexterity. Oh, we have an old man. He's probably not as flexible as he used to be. Has the old man strength, though. Has the old man strength. If we go with this spread, and you could swap it around or offer suggestions, that gives us a 14 con and a 17 charisma. And now we get to add our level 4 and our level 8 stat bumps. And when you get those, you can add 2 to 1 ability score or 1 to 2. So really we have a pool of 4. And so something that we can round up in this case which I think may just work, is we can put 1 in charisma and put the other 3 in strength. And I want to make the case again, if you ever have an odd number that you're floating in your ability scores, if you pop it in strength, even if you go from an 8 to a 9, you are receiving a mechanical benefit from that extra floating 1. Because you can carry, push, pull, drag, lift, etc. more. So it's not bad, you know, if you have the 1 to spare, and maybe you round it up later with a feat or something. It's up to you, but, you know, in this case, I think this would make sense. Oops, that's a 1. And charisma 4. So we have a more charismatic than strong paladin. Then again, look at the age. You know, we're kind of playing to the fact that we're generating an older character. He's probably still strong, but maybe he's not as strong. And he's had all this time to, you know, put the polish on. To make connections. Alright, so our saving throw is 3, and our athletics is 6. -1 on all things dexterous. He might have a little arthritis going, which is fine, that happens. I mean, it's not fine because, you know, people suffer through it, but... 0s in intelligence. You know, he grew up and maybe things were handed to him. He never had to go and study books. If we wanted to swap it around and say he's more studious, then that's fine. We could drop his wisdom to a 10. I think these are flexible either way. Being the Green Knight style, probably more in tune with nature, looking around, survival, and animal handling, I defaulted for a higher wisdom because he probably would have been exposed to more of that. Anyway, saving throw is 4, perception is 4, everything else is 1. And for charisma, we have almost all things charisma here. 7's almost all the way down the line except deception, which we're pretty still good at doing. Our passive perception is 14, as that is 10 plus your perception modifier, and that represents your natural awareness. It saves you on so many dice rolls. It's amazing. And there's other passives. You know, passive insight, passive investigation, even passive knowledges. You know, if you have you could say a passive arcana of, you know, 12 as a DM unlocks information on all CR1 half creatures, or however you want to split it up. But passives are amazing. Initiative is -1. We're a little slower to act, which is fine. Armor class is going to be 18 because we have 16 from chainmail and 2 from a shield, and we don't get a dex bonus or penalty from heavy armor. Now, hey, our Verdan has earned a name. What would you like to call Junior in this instance? Or the second, or the third even, or not even put a suffix afterwards. But this character has earned a name while we're wrapping things up here. Alright, attacking in melee, we have a +6 to hit. And also for throwing our light hammer, because that is the thrown property. These are bludgeoning. This is 1d8 +3. However, it is 1d10 versatile if we put down our shield and wield it two-handed. Light hammers are 1d4 +3 thrown. We have no cantrips. Here's an easy reminder for our spell slots. Now, if we're casting spells, aha. If we're inflicting spells, attacking with spells, it's off of charisma, so we can actually do that more efficiently than swinging our hammer. So we have a +7 to attack, and to figure out the difficulty class, the save, always add 8 to the attack. Boom. There you go. 15 to save versus our effects, and we have a +7 to attack with our weapons. Oh, and we get 0 dark vision. What else? What else? Ah, yes, the spells. Pretty much the last thing that we have to do besides name the character. Remember, we had a 15 save, and if you want to reverse engineer it and figure out the attack bonus, subtract 8. We also have lay on hands equal to 5 times our level, so we have 40 lay on hands points. We have no cantrips, and we already have slotted our not our domain spells, but our oath spells. However, we get extra spells on top of those equal to our charisma bonus, plus half our paladin level. In that case, we get to prepare 8 other spells every day that we have spell slots for. If we want to load up 7 first level spells and 1 second level spell on a Tuesday, we can. The next day, do we want all 8 in second level spells and no extra first level spells prepared, you can do it. Do you want to go 4 and 4? Sure, why not? This is a floating pool in the floating pool of generic paladin spells you can choose that gets stacked on top of your oath spells, because your oath spells do not count against the number of spells you can prepare every day. Just like with clerics, just like with Circle of the Land druids. Let me catch up in chat. Fallon is tired. I'm sorry I don't have a 2d10 command murder cube actual. Mazamune says, in case anyone wants to know, beholder reproduced by dreaming about themselves or other beholders that they think might be trying to overthrow them, and with those dreams it's possible for another beholder to be created within 2 miles, yes, of the dreaming beholder. Why not have his name be Junior, even though he's not a junior? J.R. Duerden. Genoir Duerden. Driss has gotten up to some strange stuff in this time, I guess. Yeah, if he's making a Verdan, a 200-year-old Verdan. Okay, Murder. I'm glad you got him there. But you know what? The Verdan take on aspects of whoever they tend to live around. So in this case, maybe the adventuring parent was around the Drow or Dritz in particular. And so they develop a naming convention. And so we have Junior, who is Genoir. And maybe we can mix it up here and... Junior the Third. The Thirdin. Junior the Thirdin. Oh, Murder Cube Actual. How that works, I'll show you real quick. Alright, so we'll use the Mountain Dwarf here, right? So they start at 4 feet, and we add a base modifier of 2d4. I rolled a 6. So 4'6" is the total height. We're going to take the height modifier of 6. We are going to take that and multiply it by the weight modifier of 2d6. 6. 6 times 6 is 36. We add that, not multiply it, by the base weight. So this is a 166-pound mountain dwarf, because we got a 6 on the height modifier and a 6 on the weight modifier. Then you take that multiplication and add it to the base weight. And remember that's the weight without fat or muscle. Muscle weighs a lot. Yeah, or thick with 2 C's, as the kids say. And remember, that's your character gets up in the morning in his or her skivvies, looks in the mirror, scratches his or her butt, and that's the weight. It's not the armor. It's not all that. It's not all the extra stuff. That's just your character. Exactly, Shukan. Exactly. And so here we go. We have made... We have made another Acquisitions Incorporated character. You're fine, Mazamune. Oh, and there goes our 1 F-bomb. We keep things PG-13, so, we're allowed 1 F-bomb per show. So if it's going to be used, I guess it's better to be late in the show. Shukan, I heard part of the list while it was being presented, but I haven't. We've been building the character, so I haven't looked at it yet. I can, because I'm going to be getting up and taking another break here shortly. But yeah, here's our 2 Acquisitions Incorporated characters. For the most part, it's a regular character And if you want to use the special stuff about the Verdan or a background, that's fine. That's still all vanilla to character building. Remember, though, add all of the features you get from your position in the franchise. In this case, the Cartographer. In Balden's case, the Hordes person. And there we go. I haven't, Fallon, because I've been presenting the workshop. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to get up and take a quick break here anyway. While I'm up, I'll take a look at the art. And Shukan, I'll take a look at the list. And if there's anything else, let me know. And we'll come back and we'll table talk. We'll answer questions. We could talk about more. If you have questions on Acquisitions Incorporated, we can go back into it. I don't know for how much longer. It's almost 4 a.m. here in Ohio. And you're fine. I'm not no. Don't worry about it, Mazamune. Look, it happens. It happens in my store, and you got to tell people, hey, can you not say that so often? You didn't know if you're newer here. It's not a problem. I'm not calling you out. I'm not upset. You're not getting a warning. You're not on a watch list. At least not that I know of. Are you on a watch list? All right, Fallon, you're going to head to bed before you fall asleep at the Keys. Have a great night, Fallon. Shame you didn't want to get another capsule before bed, but what can you do? All right, I'm going to take my break. You do? I mean... Fallon... Oh, what a nasty cough. Oh, oops. You're not... I don't want to mooch. Do you know how happy Shukan would be if you actually... Thank you, Shukan. Thank you.